TxStampin Sharon. I have two projects for you today, and I have to apologize a little bit. It's a little bit longer video than what I normally do, but you're gonna love it. And as you watch it, think of all the different papers that you've been saving to use and how you're gonna be able to use them and make a card and a box. If you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. You can hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell. You'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Let's make some projects. Here is the project that we're working on tonight. It is a simple birthday card and an adorable box. I have been making these boxes like crazy, and they are so fun. And I wanted to point out that I picked this paper because starting tomorrow, Stampin' Up! Is having a Designer Series paper sale. Now, the thing that I want to point out is that it's not all of them. It is the pressed petals, so that was why I picked that one. Anyway, there is a list, and I'm going to post this on my Facebook page tomorrow. Of some of the papers that you can get. You buy 3 and you get 1 free. So here's the pressed petals, and that's what I picked, and I have all the item codes and everything, and I will post this on my Facebook page. It'll post tomorrow because the sale starts tomorrow, September 4th through the 30th. And if you have not already subscribed to my newsletter, you can do that as well, and they're also getting this information in my newsletter. So I am using the stamp set called Here's a Card. It was a new set that I had not pulled out and played with yet. I got it, I guess, in June, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to play with this. I have a 1/2-inch circle punch. I have a scrap of Very Vanilla, and I also have a little scrap of the DSP. I have some Very Vanilla. Oh gosh, I haven't slept since I did this, but what were the measurements? I want to say 3 by 3. Yeah, the Mossy Meadow is 3 by 3, and then this was 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. So I've just been playing with lots of things today, and I forgot what those measurements were. My pressed petals layer is 4 inches by 5 1/4. My Very Vanilla thick, I like the thick cardstock, I just think it feels better, is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. So what should we do first, the card or the box? Let's do the box since we have everything here ready for us to do that. My Designer Series paper is 6 by 6. Now I wanted to use the pressed petals, but there's a lot of Designer Series paper that comes 6 by 6 from Stampin' Up! So, perfect size. My Very Vanilla thick, because this is the bottom of our box, is 8 inches by 8 inches. And I'm simply going to score at 2 inches on all sides. If I mess this box up, I'm going to be mad because this is my 4th one. All right, so we're going to do 2 inches on all sides. And then we're going to pull in the Designer Series paper. Remember, it was 6 by 6, and we're going to do 1 inch on all sides. And I'm going to switch to the fatter ball because I heard it tearing the paper. We don't want to tear the paper. We just want to score. Oh, that sounded much better. Okay. All right, so we're going to move this out of the way so we have some work surface. All right, let me grab my snips. And I know you probably can't see the score lines. Actually, it's a little bit easier if I go ahead and fold on the score lines, both for myself and maybe for you. And I am going to go ahead and give that a crease with the bone folder. We want the box to be, we want the lid, we're working on the lid, we want the lid to be perfectly square. Hi, Vicki. So I'm only going to do the opposite sides, and I'm mitering the corners just a little bit. Kind of, there's, you know, I want to say bulk, but there's not, it's not, I guess it's bulk, but the Designer Series paper is so thin that it's not like cardstock, but you just want it to lay flat when we go to put the box together. Okay, so we're going to flip it over, and we're going to grab our tear-in tape. This is probably the most time-consuming part, is adding the tape, but we don't want our box to fall apart, so I'm not using any other type of adhesive. I love, love, love the tear-in tape. It's a good, strong tape. And even though this is tear-in tape, I don't want to tear it off. I want it to be, I want it to, I don't want to tear my Designer Series paper or anything like that. So now I'm flipping it over and trimming it here. You know, with the holidays coming up, that's one reason why I've started making these boxes. I saw a corporate member from Stampin' Up make a box, and I'm like, oh, that is so cute and so versatile that I just have to do this. So, all right, we are done with the lid. Now we're going to do the same thing to the bottom of the box. And I have decided that one of my ribbon scissors is going to be used for cardstock. I can go get it sharpened when I need to, but I still have my other scissors. All right, we're going to flip it over, and we're doing the opposite sides, right? Because if I did this side, I would cut the flap off. Make sense? Okay, so here we go again with the tear-in tape. Now, I am not as afraid of tearing the cardstock, so I am going to just tear it with my hands instead of using the snips. But like I said, on the Designer Series paper part, it's pretty fragile. I didn't want to go yanking on it like I'm doing this. Now we're going to flip it over. Gonna grab our bone folder again, burnishing that so that we can peel that off easily. I'm gonna put a silicone mat down because once I start removing this adhesive, I don't want this box to stick to my table. You'll see what I mean when I flip this over. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it over, and when I start pressing down, I don't want that to stick to my table, the tape on the other side. Yeah, the tear-in tape is a double-sided adhesive that is amazing. All right, so now we're going to take, and this is the most important part, we want to line the sides up, putting that flap on the inside. You know, boxes are expensive, and if you can figure out the measurements, oh, I should have pulled that out. You know those little bottles that you get at Bath and Body Works? I wanted to, this was a couple of years ago, I wanted to make a box for it, and I may run over and see if I can find that. All right, so I'm going to burnish on the inside because I don't want my box. So we're going to flip it around again, and we're burnishing those flaps because I didn't do this on the first box. Oh boy, I had a little bit of trouble. Okay, so here's the bottom. Super cute, all right? Now we're going to do the same thing for our lid. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing, folding our flaps in, and I mean, if the tear and tape goes where you don't want it, it's all over. You could probably use that product called Undo, which I use it by the gallon. No, not really. I use a lot of it. I haven't tried that though on this tear and tape, but it should. All right, burnishing again. So our box is done, super cute. Now, let's talk about the ribbon. I told you I had a cute little thing to tell you about the ribbon. This ribbon is in the holiday catalog that starts tomorrow, and I love it. It is so pretty, and I figured out today that I can color it with Stampin' blends. So now I can have red, green, blue. I can have any color I want. It's so pretty, and it is a little bit stiffer when you color it with the alcohol inks, but if you just do this, you'll soften it back up again. But it's just gorgeous ribbon, and it comes as a bundle with, oh, here it is, the thread. So very fallish, okay? It's got the Cajun Craze thread, but it's just so pretty. So I had to share, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off, and I'll save that and show other people, but I just wanted to share that with you. I love sharing tips with people, whether I'm doing a YouTube video or a Facebook Live or whatever. All right, let's do some stamping. I'm using a cling stamp, cling, not clean. It is clean, but it's also a cling. And when I use these, like I made this card earlier today, but I don't like to leave my cling on here because it's pretty tough to get off. So I just store it like this until I'm ready to use it. You know, you can leave it for an hour or so, but I didn't want to leave it for like 8 hours, 6 hours. Okay, so I'm going to use Rich Razzleberry, and we're going to stamp Happy Birthday. Then I'm using the Pretty Label Punch. And when I punch it out, I want you to see, I'm actually going to leave room to add this to the bow. Make sense? So I'm going to take my paper piercer. This is the tool pickup tool, and it's got a little putty on one end that you can pick things up. Well, cardstock's not too good, but it's mostly for like sequins, rhinestones, things like that. And then it has another end. It has a little scoop, and my brush is going to be here tomorrow. No, today. It's coming today. But it has a paper piercer on the end, and I like to use this one for what I'm going to be doing. That just unscrews. It's a lot thicker than the old style that we had. So I want a bigger hole. So I'm really going to do that. Saves having to buy a hole punch. And then who knows what these are? They are for your teeth. Like if you're wearing braces and stuff. They're little flossers, and they can be reused over and over again for what I'm going to use it for. I picked these up at the grocery store or a drugstore, and it's like a needle, okay? Because my old eyes can't get that in the hole very well. And why struggle when there's something out there that can help us? So this is the totality of my sewing right there. You saw it. Okay, so I'm just going to tie a little loop. All right, so I'm holding my little finger in there to try to keep that loop from getting any smaller, and it also helps me tighten that up. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, if y'all could just see my whole desk, I have got a mess. Does y'all's studio look like that? Your craft space? All right, so we have our tag ready. Let's get our ribbon ready. And we're going to, I like to leave it on the bolt in case I need more or whatever. I mean, we just have to have our craft space, right? So we're going to go ahead and feed our tag on. Oh, you know what I just realized? I used the wrong ribbon. I used the wrong, let me show you my other box. Oh well. I actually used the Mossy Meadow cord thread that we sell. And that was laying there, so I picked up the wrong thing. I was like, oh, that does not look good. How I store my cling stamps. So you have to remove the plastic coated backing when you get your cling mounts. And what I think is so cool, look at the shapes, okay? If you're looking at the label, it matches this. And I just think that's so cool. Let me bring that in a little bit. So sometimes you can't read the stamp. You're like, what does that say? What does that say? But this way, you don't have to, I mean, it's like a no-brainer. Stampin' Up! Was brilliant when they did this. Well, can't get that off. Another tip for you, if you're new to the cling mount, is just look at the shape, and these are super sticky. So once you stick it, that's it. I have gotten a few on crooked, and I mean, the whole jig is up. So what I do with this is I peel off the backing sometimes, okay? And it's not sticky. However, that foam, I take and put this right in here. And then that way, if I am missing a stamp, it sticks out like a sore thumb. I go hunting for that stamp. So I just wanted to share that with you. I'm not going to put all these back in. If I don't put this in and I just leave my cling, especially on the tiny ones, it is harder than heck to get them off. So just wanted to share that tip with you. Okay, so now we're going to put this card together. And this matches very vanilla. To me it looked white at first, And I put it on the white layer and I was like, oh, that is wrong. We're going to stamp our birthday, our happy birthday for our card. Again, using the Rich Razzleberry. I like to hold my stamp there for a few seconds so that all the ink transfers over. I don't want to have to go cut another piece of paper and all of that. Now, to build our flower, we're actually going to go ahead and put these layers on first, because once we build the flower, we don't want to smash our flower. Get my dimensionals. Here is the washi tape. It comes as a pack, and these little petals, they're strong. There's a lot on here. I don't know how many. I don't know if it says it or not. So for the sake of our time, I have already peeled them off, but I want to show you that I kind of struggle with it. So I have a pair of craft tweezers that I can just go in and get that started. And I will also share with you, so see, you can just peel it up like that. I tried to do it from the bottom and I tore it. It's because the bottom is too skinny, I think, and it was too much pressure. So go in from the side when you're pulling these off, and they only pull off one at a time. It's not like a whole roll of washi tape like you may be used to, okay? If you get too many, just put it back. Okay, so I have already peeled off some of the petals, and I'm going to zoom in as much as I can, okay? And I'm just going to start building my flower. Now, my first flower, I got a little crazy. Okay, so another tip that I want to give you when you're using this washi tape, if you don't want it to stick to something, once you've got it where you want it, you can rub the embossing buddy on the back, and it will lay down, but it's not going to stick flat. Make sense? Don't want to forget this. Now, when this card goes in the envelope, yes, it's going to get squished a little bit, but it will still be pretty. If you're handing it to someone, that's even better. Okay, so these I just put, nothing is underneath them. My next layer of flowers has dimensionals. And I wanted the dimensionals so that when it does go into an envelope, it will still have some body to it. Okay, so we're gonna come off. Wait till you see what I'm gonna do in the center. Y'all are going to flip out. I was so excited when I figured this out. I guess what I forgot to do. So I am gonna go ahead and add the embossing buddy. All right, so I added an extra one, but that's okay. I'll use that for later. Now, what are we gonna do in the center? That's kind of So I was looking at this and I was like, well, what if nobody has any of the jewels, like the faceted jewels or whatever? We're gonna have little scraps of paper left over, aren't we? Where'd my punch go? So I was looking at that flower and I was like, oh, we're gonna make it be the center of our flower too. Isn't that so smart? Okay, we're gonna take and put, we already have quite a bit of height on here because I added all those dimensionals. So I'm just gonna add it with a little bit of liquid glue. Liquid glue is for those who might be nervous with adhesives, because my liquid This liquid glue is almost empty. I am waiting for the man in the brown truck to show up with my new glue because I cannot believe that I'm out. Isn't that fun? It matches. I was so proud of myself. We have our box. We are all set. I sure hope I inspired y'all. I hope that your wheels are just thinking, those creative juices are flowing, and you're gonna pull out your cardstock and your papers and you're gonna make some boxes. Happy stamping, y'all!